Yeah, hey guys, thanks for filling in the Google form as you can see above. Now, this is a little bit of homework for you guys, but if you can do it, it'll be great. So it's called Know Your Client form. So let's go to it. So this Know Your Client form is basically about 10 pages and it actually captures more information that I need to workshop your case before I speak to you. So, I'll be like, hey, I get it, pretty long form, it's a bit of a mission, I understand. But look, the more information you give me, try your best, the more I'll ask you later, especially for the banks. They ask a lot of information. So this video is just to go through the form so that you don't look at the form and go, oh my God, there's so much stuff I need to fill in, what a mission, So this is called that Know Your Client form to, feed off that home loan dude. Very simple stuff, give a name, surname. I mean, if you entered the Google form, you can just skip that stuff. But if you can, it'll be great because then I can name it. And, when my staff does the data entry, when you guys go ahead, then it's so much easier. Date of birth, address, date you moved in. Are you renting? Are you owning? Previous address. If you live in your current place for less than 3 years, input your previous address. Now, if you have like 600 properties that you've lived in before, obviously, I don't have enough room for that. So I would say, go through here. I've created this form where you can stretch it out. And then, just put in the date you moved in to the date you moved out. And then your home phone, work phone, possibly not really important. Mobile phone, not very important. Email, are you married, not married? Your kid's age. Now, I put it in little bits and pieces of motivation, just don't give up. It's not tough. Don't have that perfectionist mentality. Just input what you can, like for example, employer name, employment type, occupation. And again, the previous one about the residential address, put in previous employers. So we capture 3 years employment history. Some banks, they need a bit about 12 months history if you're casual, part-time, or you've only been in a job for 2 weeks. So we need to see what were you doing before, which opens a lot more options for you. Now, I put in this same thing where it will stretch out if you got 6-7 employees in the last 3 years. And then if you can, just we'll Google it, but if you can, what's the address, work phone, all that stuff. Don't put your direct work phone, maybe the employer's direct work phone. Now, if you're single, ignore applicant 2, but if you're the spouse, get them to fill it out as well. This is a very savable PDF form. I throw in some notes. A lot of people go through banks, amateur brokers. They usually go, hey, don't worry, don't need to input anything, and then they chuck it in and assume all information. I don't do that. I want to collect most of the information here. I was a firm believer of doing it right the first time. I mean, I don't want to, trick you and go, oh, it's so easy to get a home loan. Just give me a pay slip and that's it. You'll find out that the bank needs more information if we just present them a one-dimensional context of who you are. So don't rush the form. Maybe, in the weekend or spare a 30 minutes at night with your spouse, just fill it in. And then these are rough estimates. If you're refinancing, how much is your property worth? What is the rental income? Do you own a motor vehicle? What's the year, make and model? Home and contents, roughly what are they worth if you were to flip your house upside down and everything fell to the roof, supposedly? How much is that all worth? What's your super amount? How much do you have savings? What is your current mortgage if we're doing a refinance or you have existing lenders that we want to consider? So throwing the bank, is the principal interest, is it interest only? What's the balance owing? What's the monthly repayment? What's the current rate? That's very important. Car loans, credit cards, buy now, pay later, all that stuff, put it in here. And this is very important, guys. You guys always trip over this. This is just a rough estimate, okay? Don't spend hours going through your bank statements. We will look through it if you want to go ahead with our services. We have a team that goes through your bank statements for the last 3 months and vet through it. But we want to get this from your own words. Start thinking, how much do you spend? Okay? So do that. And then also you have multiple properties. What do they cost to run those? Management fees, council, strata. Again, don't spend hours on this. What is your utility fees to live at your own place? Medical, recreation, going out, okay? Just put in an estimate. Don't waste so much time on it, but don't leave it blank, because what happens when you leave a bank, I start putting my own, the bank starts assuming what you should be spending, and the banks always over-assume, okay? And then putting your personal insurance, the best way is to go to your annual statements of your super and plug it in. If you don't know, press unsure. It's not so important now. And then we like to get an idea of your lending profile. It's not a a blanket rule for every client that we deal with. We tailorize all our solution for our clients. So to do that, we wanted to get to know what's your preference. What amount are you looking for? If you go, I'm not really sure. Well, if you had like $1 million income, well, what would you want to apply for? How long do you want to retain your home? Some of you guys want to buy, renovate, and flip. 6 months out. Some of you guys want to stay there for 5 years. What do you want to do with the lending? And out of a scale 1 to 10, tell us your risk concerns, okay? And again, a bit of motivation here. I have over 25 lenders, and basically, I want to know your preference, right? I don't really recommend products to you like, oh, Q, what's your recommendation? I don't recommend. I base on your needs first. Then I spit out all the recommendations that the system spits out. And then we have a chat again after this call, or the first call, and then we have an initial follow-up call if you want to engage in my services. Well, which lenders are best suited to your needs, okay? So you could be very rate-driven, or you can be service-driven, or a hybrid of both. So do select it and add some comments why you think that way. Again, don't spend so much time on this. And then the next thing is, have you had a credit? I think you answered it in my Google form, but tick it anyway. Because what happens with this form is it gets flicked to my admin team to compile and produce file notes and reports for my compliance. And on the topic of compliance is, when you engage me, or whether you engage a broker or banker, your lending will be coming from zero or something else to something more. So I'm required to pass you to a third-party financial advisor because they can give advice. I can't give advice. I usually give it, but I always say I can't give advice because I'm not licensed. And I do suggest you speak to one of our financial planners, which are independent, and they don't charge you a fee for the initial consultation, just to review your insurance, whether you have enough, insurance in case, touch wood, something happens to you, especially if you have kids, or even if you don't have kids. Well, what if you lost your job and you got a $600,000 loan and your insurance cover is only $200,000? We don't want to force you to sell your property just because you can't be staffed to look into insurance for yourself. If you got your car insured or your assets insured, why don't you insure your life, okay? So we need to do this. Now, you can obviously say, I don't want to speak to a financial planner, but again, when, shite hits the fan, I'm going to say, hey, I gave the clients this option. Also, I paid for the initial consultation because it's part of my compliance and audit. And look, it was their fault. They went for a $1 million loan. They have zero insurance. You don't want that, right? Just don't do that. But obviously, I respect your choices. You do not want to see a financial planner. And then, we reach the end of the form. Yeah, you reach the end of the form. You fill it in. You would then send me the attachment of this via email, which I will have prompt you to do in the follow-up reminders leading to our call. I'll go through it and then I'll speak to you. So hopefully this video is short and sweet. If you've got any questions, go to thathomeloandude@gmail.com and I will love to speak to you very, very soon. And remember to get the budget planner and my Keep Calm Mortgage on book, which you purchase with your $7.70 booking fee, because it's the #1 bestseller at the moment on Amazon. I'm not lying. Under educational funding, it's #1 bestseller. If you want to get the hard copy, go and get it, because it's very hard to read on e-copy. You want to get the Kindle version, or you want to get the Audible version, which is professionally narrated. Go and get it, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.